steps.
Love
And
it.
when they give you practical steps, you just have to follow them. And I believe we have her ready on the line this morning. Good morning, audacious Coach Elizabeth. How are you doing?
Good morning, I'm well, and how are you this morning?
We are doing great in studio with this beautiful weather. You know, winter is one of those beautiful seasons whereby we become productive. On your side?
It's going well. We're just missing snow, but
No.
we're on the wrong side of the world.
So, you know, before we get into it, please greet the listener and let us know what do you have for us. Immediately you mentioned snow. I was like, why can't we just have snow?
No, thank you.
know, but
once.
just once, because that's the only thing missing. Yes, then you can take over this morning. What do you have for us? And don't forget to greet the listener.
Good morning to our amazing listeners. This morning, we are going to talk about how to push through on days when you just don't feel like it. I know we're saying that we want snow and everything, but the days are coming, the weather's going to drop. We'll be at -3, -2, and you're going to be so warm in your bed, and you still have to go to work, and you're like, oh, do I have to?
Ngingile.
And that is when adulting will be adulting on all of us, right?
Yes.
On days like that, when you just don't feel like showing up, it could be because, you know, your energy is low. It could be because you are lacking motivation, or you just don't feel inspired, or you're just tired. Like you've just been carrying a lot. It's already June, but it feels like it could be November already. You know, it's been meetings after meetings, deadlines after deadlines, putting out fires, crises after crises, and you just feel like, you know what? I am tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And maybe you might even be tempted to be a little bit philosophical and be like, what is the meaning of life? Why are we doing this? Yeah. That's also actually a sign of escapism and avoidance, but we're not going to go that far. One of the key things to remember when we are in these moments is that it's good to remember that feelings change. And when you're in that deep moment of just discouragement and lack of motivation, remember not to allow feelings to control your actions and the decisions that you make. Don't make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Those feelings are temporary. But however, we are grown-ups, we are the adults, we are the praying aunties, we are the aunties that they call at night vigils. We are the grown-ups, right? So
Yes.
responsibilities stay the same, purpose still stays the same, our values stay the same. The buck stops with us, whether we like it or not. This is where we are, and yeah, we are in it and we are in it. So another key point to remember is to stop waiting to feel ready.
Yes.
Oftentimes we think that, you know what, let me just push myself, let me just, you know, listen to this, let me do that. Yeah, sure, motivation does work for a while, but after a while it has to go beyond motivation. It has to get to a point where it's a decision and a conviction. And for you to get there, you have to be able to make that decision to say, you know what, this is the decision that I'm making, and I'm sticking with it regardless of the circumstances. You have to make up your mind and stick with what you make. And that is actually what's going to keep you and sustain you throughout beyond the feelings of motivation.
Yes.
And you have to also create action, create those small actions. When we look at the big picture, it's so easy to become overwhelmed. Create those small actions and be consistent with them. Because remember, the more you're consistent with those actions, the more momentum starts to build. And the more momentum is building, when you start seeing the results of the small little wins, the small achievements that you're having, you start to build up that confidence and that motivation that you've actually been wanting to keep you going on those bad days.
Yes.
And another key point would be for us to lower the bar. If we think about what we would like to achieve, especially as the years are going, I'm finding that when you're having your birthday celebrations, and then the number gets bigger and bigger, and you're like, sure, I'm close to 40. What have I done? I thought by 40 I would have done this. I thought by 45 I would have done this. That feeling of disappointment in ourselves, that feeling of despair, that feeling of just like I failed.
Yeah.
It actually starts to slowly creep in. And mind you, that feeling of I failed or I'm failing or what am I doing with my life, it's in comparison to what your ideal self, what you would have thought you would have done by now. It's not necessarily in comparison to what you have actually done. So you find that there are milestones that you have achieved, beautiful milestones,
Yeah.
recommendable milestones, but because we're still holding on that ideal version of I should have by now,
Mm.
you don't see clearly, you don't have the right perspective. You see yourself from the lens of disappointment and failure and pressure, and not necessarily seeing that actually despite the challenges, despite the different obstacles that have come your way, all the different factors of life, you've actually done well for yourself.
Yeah.
And we have to take it a step further. If you look at someone else who has less than you, you could be in a 4-bedroom house and be like, I thought I would have had a top billing house by now, but then there's someone who's sleeping under the bridge.
Mm.
So
Mm.
when you start putting it in context, you start realizing that actually, you know what, maybe even as time goes, just renewing your mind in terms
Yeah.
of what you feel and think is possible for yourself, just to manage that feeling of disappointment so that it becomes easier for you to jump out of bed on the days that you're feeling bad, right?
Mm.
So don't focus on doing everything at the same time. That's what I
Yes.
mean by lowering the
Mm.
bar. Focus on what you need to do next. It could be one phone call, one email, one meeting, one task, and that keeps the momentum going. Because honestly, if you are feeling like, I just can't do this anymore, I'm pushing, I'm not getting the results, it is it's such a critical time to exercise a lot of self-care in that
Yeah.
moment. And part of self-care is that compassion on yourself and the patience with yourself to say, let's do a little bit at a time
Mm.
instead of trying to overwhelm ourselves with too many things at the same time.
Mm.
And then also keep the promises that you make to yourself.
Oh, yes.
That's one of the key factors of confidence. Promises we make to ourselves could be, I'm going to have a bubble bath and a glass of wine before I go to bed. Like it's a
Yes.
must. Whatever it is for yourself that makes you feel loved and just cared for, whether it could be a massage, whether it could be a little shopping spree, once in a while, whatever it is,
Mm.
keep these promises that you make to yourself. Because what happens is when you keep your word to yourself, even on difficult days, and especially on difficult days, that sense of accomplishment creates confidence, it creates courage, it creates motivation within itself to say, you know what, it was tough, but I did it. Well done. And
Oh,
say it to yourself,
yes.
well done. I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to look in the mirror, say, I'm proud of you, well done. And don't be scared to share your wins with your loved ones. Tell
Mm.
them that, I had a difficult board meeting today, I had a difficult, disagreement with a friend, but, we resolved it amicably. In the past, I would have done this, but this time around, I handled it well. It might be small, but hearing those words from your loved ones say, I'm proud of you, well done, good job, you did well, it's such a confidence booster.
Mm.
Mm. Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
you know and also remember, the key thing would be progress over perfection. You show
Yes.
up as you are, you show up imperfectly, you show up tired, you show up uncertain, you just keep showing up to keep that momentum going. And for practical tips for us, I see that time is not on my side. For practical tips, we're gonna get moving before you feel motivated, whatever it
Mm.
is. Even if it's, you can have those hectic days, and
Yes.
honestly, the only thing you can think is, today the only thing I can do is just make my bed.
Mm.
Just
Mhm.
get up and make your bed, take it off and be like, well done, I'm proud of you. The
Yeah.
next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a cup of coffee. It sounds so silly, but sometimes that's what the mind needs to get your engine going, especially
Yes.
if you've been taking blow after blow. I saw a post of a lady that she posted on LinkedIn, and she's like, I've been applying for work for 3 years now, and I've just been getting, decline rejection letters. If you've been experiencing a lot of rejection lately, and you just like, is there any hope, honestly, in the job market?
Mm.
Is there any hope with, whatever it is that you're trusting God for?
Mm.
Those little those little accomplishments, as silly as they sound, they keep you on. They keep you on the lifeline.
Yes.
They keep you going. They keep that spark of hope going to say, you know what, we're not going to allow ourselves to lose ourselves in this. We're going to keep hanging in there until we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and focus on the next 15 minutes and not on the whole day. Practice mindfulness, being fully present, to help with the feelings of overwhelm and discouragement, and do one thing that moves you forward. Reach out to someone who is doing what you love. Reach out to someone who's out there, make a new friend, get yourself out there. Slowly, slowly, as you do that, you're breaking those barriers that are keeping you in, and that help you to finally come out, to have, that motivation to keep you going on those hectic days. And remember always why you started. If you have to put it as your wallpaper on your phone, if you have to put a paper on your fridge so you can see it every morning, if you have to put it on your dashboard of your car, write your why, so that when those days creep in, you're like, this is the goal, and we are not stopping until we get it. And in closing thoughts, you do not have to feel strong to take a strong action. You do not have to feel confident to take a confident step. You don't even have to feel inspired to start. You just have to make a decision to say, I am worth it, and my life is worth it, and therefore I will get up. I will do what I said I'm going to do. I will start where I am, and I will keep going, or I'll keep showing up at that job. Sometimes you're praying for things, and when you're finally getting in those hectic days, you're like, yo, what did I get myself into? But then just remembering that you are worth it. It gives you that extra kick, that extra push, the extra nudge that you need to keep you going.
Wow, what a beautiful way actually this morning to be in the lifestyle segment. I love what you just said this morning, but when you said to take care of yourself, take care of yourself and have that moment, I'm like, am I doing that? Do I need to start doing that? And it's very important for one to do it for themselves. And for anyone to work with you, Audacious Coach, where can they get a hold of you?
They can reach me on Elizabeth Ramadikela on all social media platforms except X, and it's elizabethramadikela.org. And just one last thought to our listeners. What is the one thing you know you need to do today, even if you don't feel like it? Do it today.
Jesus Christ. I said I'm running away from another one. Then you bring on another one. What did I say about a coach? A coach will just want you to do.
Yeah, I know. 100%.
Gotta move.
And on that note, thank you so much. I believe that we'll see you again next week, same time, same place.
Yes, absolutely. See you next week, and keep warm and well rested and productive. All the best for the week.
Oh, thank you so much. Until we see you next week, have a wonderful day moving forward. What did you learn from that? I was like,
I just learned is that there's this point she made that says, stop waiting until you feel ready. And I'm